pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we have roll call, please?
Yes. Supervisor McGlasson?
Here.
Councilwoman Campbell? Councilman Tempore?
Here.
Councilman Boyd?
Here.
And Councilman Ruthven will not be present this evening.
Thank you very much. Our first item on the agenda is for the sewer district. I invite Councilman Boyd to discuss this.
Oh, okay. So we had Barton LaJudas do a write-up for us to help define the sewer district and how it is. We had the sewer board meeting. Barton, Eric Duden and somebody else from Barton LaJudas had come and basically explained what they would do. The sewer district, I believe, when it was initiated around 12 years ago, the rules and regulations were poorly written and poorly maintained, and so it's a real mess. And so by having Barton LaJudas do this service for us, basically they're going to help us with the direction of the sewer district, evaluate as it exists now, and the potential use for the sewer district in the future, and how it will help the town overall, not just those in the sewer district currently, but for the town itself. So there's a fee that they have for it. It's $36,500. Seems like a fair chunk of money, and so it is. I'm trying to figure out, how to pay for it, other than those that are directly on the sewer connection now. And part of that payment, we were just thinking that there are people that have properties that have the potential to be on the sewer district. They have what we call allotments, but don't currently put into the system any sewage. They're unimproved properties, but they also don't pay into the system either. And so we have to keep up a certain size system for the potential for them to use. So let's say we'll just use a number, 100 is what their potential is coming into the system. So we have to keep up a building that's capable of using that or processing that 100 in the future. So right now, everybody who's on the system pays for their potential to come in later, but they're not paying into it now. So they really need to bring these unimproved lots and to begin to pay with everybody else. So that's in part going to be some of the money we'll help pay for it. I think we'll pull maybe some money out of the general budget to pay for it, as it isn't just going to help improve the sewer district for the people on the current sewer district, but for the town as a whole. So if we decide to extend the sewer district, or any potential that Barton LaJudas gives us, we can bring more business into town. More business means more tax revenue. More tax revenue means less. You're dividing up the tax burden amongst everybody else. So basically, everybody pays less, and don't we all love to pay less? So that's pretty much it. I think it's a really good thing to do, and we need the guidance, and we need it from somebody in writing, from somebody like Barton LaJudas.
Could I just add also that their report that they're going to generate is going to put the town in a better position to apply for grants, because they'll have information already prepared for that type of thing. And also, as you and I have experienced, there's a lot of competing governing documents for the system, because we use the wastewater treatment facility that's owned by someone else, and we need someone to help us align all of the different agreements that are in place, because it gets very hard to get through.
That's correct, Nancy. And so some background for people who don't know about the sewer district was actually put together with 3 entities, one being Fringell Realty, which is now Kent Commons, the little plaza.
Yeah.
Can't think of the name of it. Anyway, so that building, the town of Kent and Kent Manor, which is the townhouses that were to be built over on Nichols. So those are the 3 entities that are supposed to be using the sewer district. Obviously, Kent Manor has not developed. There's no homes built for that yet, so there's 0 input from them. Fringell Realty has a small part that they put into the system, and then what we do. So when Nancy's talking about the 3 entities together, there really isn't a
lot of competing rights and obligations, and some of them don't align with each other.
Yeah, or unknown.
Yeah.
Really, because it's just not written well. There's no definition to a lot of stuff. So this report will look into that and give us that kind of definition that we need to move forward with.
Any board comments? Any public comments?
Kathy Dougherty is not here tonight. She asked me to just read something for her. Supervisor McGlasson and members of the committee, I am writing to express my concerns regarding the Barton and LaJudas proposal for the Kent Sewer District, which was submitted a couple of months ago to the town board and presented before the Sewer District Committee. While I appreciate the initiative and effort put forth by Barton and LaJudas in their proposal, I believe we need to address some foundational issues before moving forward. At this point, I feel that we are putting the cart before the horse. Before considering any expansion or the potential takeover of the plant, we must first take a step back to review and clarify the following. Number one, ordinances. A thorough review of our current ordinances is necessary to ensure they align with the goals and future vision of this project. Zoning regulations. We need to evaluate and, if necessary, update zoning regulations to ensure they support the proposed project while maintaining compliance and balance within the community. The third step is permitting process and allocations. It is critical to establish a clear understanding of how the permitting process will work and how allocations will be managed to prevent any misunderstandings or inefficiencies moving forward. These foundational elements must be addressed first to provide a structured and transparent path forward. Once these steps are completed, we will be better positioned to evaluate the merits of the proposal and its long-term impacts on the community and infrastructure. She goes on to say, thank you for your attention to this matter. I trust the board will take the necessary steps to ensure these critical components are addressed before proceeding. And that's sincerely from Kathy.
Thank you.
I think everything in that letter is actually pro going forward with this. That everything that's written in there is exactly what this is going to do. You know, I'm not qualified to overlook, you know, how it is. I mean, I'm very knowledgeable on what goes on here, but we need somebody with a PhD after their name, and I don't have that. So I think everything she wrote in there actually makes an argument not against this, but for this.
It's just a blank state at this point in terms of what it's going to cost. That's what she's concerned about from what she said to me.
I think, like Nancy said, that we need to have something in writing to be able to apply for grants, to set this forward, to give definition. The system has no definition. So
I'm sorry, not to interrupt you, but so there is a cutoff. So if we want to apply for money for the upcoming fiscal year, all of everything has to be in by mid-June. So that's what this would do as well. If we don't get the information in by mid-June for the next grants, the next round of funding, we have to wait a whole other year to get. So I didn't mean to interrupt you,
no,
but I just wanted that to.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. So if we want to apply for grant monies to pay for this, then we can at that point. So, my dad, I love my daddy, and he's always showed me how to do, smart stuff and never, badmouth your competition. You let their work speak for itself. And I would say that the person who sat in my seat for the last, probably 8 years and overlooked the sewer district, I can't think of what his mindset was, but he clearly did not do anything for the sewer district in a way, right? It was completely ignored it. And so when I look at it, I can't just ignore it, right? And Dr. Kulik, because you're the one probably getting hammered the worst as far as monies are concerned. And I appreciate you coming to me, with your concerns. And I think that this is how we get to take it from the mess it's been for nearly a decade and straighten it out and actually get something with some clarity, because we've had no clarity. There's things that are written in there. There should be $100,000 in capital funding that should have been put in there, $10,000 a year over 10 years. It's not there. There's many, many things that we could go over, and nobody has the answer to. And the person who sat here prior to me running, or, the liaison for the sewer district did nothing. So, I'm stepping up. I'm doing something. And this is what we need to do, get it straightened out so we can start getting some money, get an idea. We're not looking to purchase the sewer district. And I see that's Kathy's fear. That's not what this is about. It's to give us the best idea. It's a bunch of options. Maybe one of those options is to purchase the sewer district, as an entirety from the other two
In the
entities.
treatment facility, right?
The water treatment facility that is on Nickel Street. And that's what it is. It's just to give us the best options. And then at that point, we can all discuss it as a community and come up with a good answer.
It's also to give us the ability to apply for grants and funding and have the necessary paperwork that we need done by engineers in order to apply for funding that we otherwise would not get, so.
Yeah.
I don't know if our attorney can help us with this, but since you mentioned that there are many conflicting requirements and documents, do you have the sense that this proposal from B&L is going to encompass that part of the work? Or do we need to think in terms of some additional legal consultation to address that?
So this definitely says that they're going to review all of the existing agreements. The only other thing that probably needs to be taken into consideration are the town code provisions governing the sewer district. And if they can put everything together in a cohesive report for us, I'm sure my office can review the town code and make sure that it complies with whatever it's supposed to say according to the agreements, once those are interpreted for us.
Great. Question for Councilman Boyd. Have you thought about a specific breakdown between what might be covered by current users, these potential users that you described, and just our own town budget? Because we should have a specific proposal, I think, for how that's going to be done.
Great. So, and it's a substantial portion of what the sewer bill would be, like 30% of it. So it's not like just a few $100s that these people would contribute. And because we sustain the system for their future potential, they pay no money into it, and they should pay for the potential to come into the system. It values their property, increases the value of their property because they can join into the sewer district. So they should pay into it now. They haven't been paying into it since its initiation. So they're lucky so far.
I would also argue that this benefits the entire town. We've had a logjam on development along the commercial corridor because of this, and I would like to see that addressed. But I think we need to have a specific breakdown of, what proportion of this 36K will be coming from those different sources so that we can move ahead.
Is there any other?
I mean, the alternative is we just vote to cover it through the town budget and then figure it out later. But I'd like to see it move ahead one way or the other.
Yeah, I'd like to be able to, put a fine definition on who's going to pay for it. You're correct. I think that the additional, the persons that are coming in will cover about a third of it, I believe. If the people that are currently on the sewer district paid a third, and the town paid a third, I think that would be the worst case scenario for the people that are currently in the district. I saw that our grant company had just sent us an email with our monthly update, and looking at that, one of those applications was like grant monies for business districts, improvements for business districts. There's a handful of grants because it's sewer, right? So it's got environmental side, it's got business expansion side. There's a lot of avenues. So I feel confident that we could probably get a good portion of this, if not completely covered by grants. But I think it's reasonable that we ended up chopping it a third between people who aren't paying into the system now, the town, because it is, like you said, something for the whole town will improve because of it, or benefit from this. And then the people on the sewer district now, worst case scenario, would be 10,000.
What would those individual property owners be paying then if we did that?
I think
split?
roughly about 10,000, I think, is what they would.
But I mean, per individual.
Oh, I kind of don't know that breakdown. I don't have that in front of me.
Okay. Also, is Barton and Lejudas then proposing to go ahead and submit at least the one grant application as part of this?
Yes, I believe that was in there.
I mean, we did that with the first round on the WIA grants, right? But then
Yes.
we went ahead with them the second time as well, and that was successful.
And then
Correct.
also, couldn't they put these engineering fees into the grant sometimes and be successful in getting?
It depends. Often you can't charge for anything that hasn't, that's already happened before you
Correct,
are
yeah.
funded.
But they can try.
Yeah. So, I'm sorry, I haven't read the proposal in enough detail. Did they break down what that would cost, what portion of it is for that submission?
No, it's not broken down financially as far as that.
But
that's
they do
gonna-
say they will prepare.
Yep, it's just that they have a lump sum number on it.
And as I say, they were successful with WIA, right? So, for the
Yeah.
water district.
Very successful.
And it includes several meetings with the public. Obviously, there's several different members that will, engineers, attorneys, public relations that will all, be part of their approach to this. And there's probably some kind of, financial advisor that will be part of it too, like an asset managing sector, that if we did move forward and take possession of the sewer plant itself, what the value of that asset is, pro, con, either way. It's just gonna give us a whole bunch of options that we can pick from.
Sue, did you have a comment?
Is there any other public comment? Do you,
Yes, sir.
does someone want to read it?
Are we going to try to map out how we would break down the funding of this? Or are we just going to vote for it in total and then address it later on? Can we do that?
Yeah, I don't have a
Looking at
breakdown
Nancy.
exactly on how to move forward. Yeah, and break it down. My best estimate would be to make the people who aren't paying into the system start to pay their fair share. I've been talking to Nancy about it, what kind of notification we have to give for public hearing so these people can come and, give their opinion, on it, because they're going to start to pay. Even if we didn't have a legal requirement, I would still do so. Everybody has the right to come and express their opinion. And then again, the town picking up a third, and then the people that are currently on the sewer district a third. And again, I think it's the worst case scenario that everybody would have to pay out.
So do we have the legal standing through our code or whatever else might be involved to go ahead and put these charges out on those property owners?
Yes.
We do. Okay. Good to know.
Do you have the read? I don't have it. For this, is there?
So if we adopt this as written, we could still make those decisions at a future meeting and allocate those charges at that future meeting?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
then worst case, it would just all come out of the town budget?
Yes.
That's right.
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
So I make a motion for a resolution authorizing the acceptance of proposal from professional services. Whereas the town of Kent is in receipt of a proposal from Barton and Lejudas, the proposal, in quotes, to provide consulting services to the town of Kent in evaluating the existing Kent Manor Sewer District as set forth in the proposal annexed hereto and hereby incorporated by reference. And whereas the services proposed are professional services that are exempt from bidding requirements under the town procurement policy and New York State law. And whereas the town board believes it is to be in the best interest of the town to accept the proposal and authorize the consulting services. Now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Kent hereby accepts the proposal from Barton and Lejudas and authorizes the services consistent with the proposal. And be it further resolved that the town supervisor is hereby authorized and directed to execute any and all agreements and other documents necessary to give effect to this resolution, consistent with the terms there herefore, all in form satisfactory to the supervisor and the town attorney. I make this motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I will add that Barton and Lejudas is also on our general bid list.
Yes.
Yep, right.
Even if it were not the case that it's professional services, we have standing to use them for this.
Okay.
Yeah, and they've also been with us to, like for the site meeting with, Ann and I were out at the sewer plant, and they came out, I don't believe they've charged us any fees for that, and I've had a ton of conversations with, Eric Duden on their staff about this, so, they're super helpful, and I think they have a great attitude about it and a good outlook for the town.
That's
for it.
actually
Very positive.
Eric's area of expertise, by the way,
Yes.
as an engineer.
And actually, we were also there with our legislator, Greg Elner was with us, who also, in his employment, works in the water treatment.
I was gonna say,
like
he's
there
more on
to-
the other side.
Yeah, yeah, the end I don't like to work with. I like the clean side. Yeah, we've had a lot of input from a lot of different people on this project so far. Thanks.
Okay, great. Our next item is to accept a playground donation. So CV Star in Brewster is getting rid of their 3-year-old playground, which is in 3 years, it's 3 years old. And they were looking to donate it, and they also use Inside Engineering, which is doing Eustis Park. So John Watson contacted myself and Councilman Rufin and said, they want to donate a playground, do you want it for Eustis Park? And playgrounds can be hundreds of thousands of dollars. So we are going to graciously accept this playground. I believe Richie's going to help us store it until it's ready to go there. And so we need to accept it tonight and then authorize the payment for the removal, which I can't find the amount. Do you?
I don't, let me see if I can find that on my phone.
But it is a beautiful playground.
Can we give it to to not exceed number if we don't know exactly what it is?
I just want to, yes, I think if we can, I just want to.
Well, we don't want to hamstring ourselves, though. Let's make sure.
Because we want this playground and it needs to be removed before March 7th because there was a very tight time frame that they want this out so they can bring their new one in or whatever they're doing there, so.
Yeah, I was going to say, why are they replacing it if it's only 3 years old? Are they doing something else with that land?
They are, so it said in this original email, it's a very good condition. It cost them $180,000. So he's saying it will cost about $40,000 to have, because it needs, so for everyone that doesn't know, because we had to do it up here, when you remove a playground and reinstall it, it has to be done in a very specific way that it's not just anyone can go out there and put it together like it's IKEA furniture. It needs to be a specialized person that puts it together. So they're saying that the cost is about $40,000 to remove and then relocate and certify that it can be used again at the new spot.
Will we ultimately be charging this against the grant funding that we have
Yes,
for
it would go
Eustis?
back, yes,
Good.
but we're still saving money, a lot of money.
Yep.
Because if we bought the $180,000 playground, we would still then have to pay to have it installed, which would, probably be half of the 40. I'm thinking half is probably removal, half is to put it back in, so we'll say 40,000.
Susan Kotzer, where is it going?
At Eustis Park.
Where?
So where the existing playground is.
So you're
Well,
going to put it
lack
back?
thereof.
Okay, thanks.
I don't know if you've seen the playground at Eustis. It's not,
Yes, I've seen it.
it's not very
I've been
pretty.
there.
It's not very pretty. This is a,
It's not really safe.
no, but this
It's
is,
in the woods.
no one, I mean, I can put this online. It's a really nice playground. It's a really,
Oh, yeah, very nice. It's similar to what we have outside here, I would say.
I don't want to say this out loud, but this one might even be nicer than the one we have out there, but it's larger than the one we have out there.
Okay.
Any other public comment or board comment? No? Okay.
I think it's great.
Make a motion to adopt the resolution authorizing acceptance of a donation. Whereas the Brewster Central School District has offered to donate the playground equipment behind the CV Star building to the town of Kent. And whereas the town wishes to accept the donation and authorize the payment for the removal of the above-ground playground equipment from the CV Star building and deliver to the town of Kent. Therefore, be it resolved that the town board of the town of Kent hereby authorizes the town supervisor to accept the donation from the Brewster Central School District with gratitude and authorize the payment of the cost of removal of the above-ground equipment from the CV Star building and delivery to the town of Kent. I make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Our next item on the agenda is the solar and battery moratorium. Tonight, we're not looking so much at the battery part of it, but we want to get something on so that people can start installing solar panels, if the board agrees, back on their houses and stuff. It's been a big issue. My office and Bill's office have gotten
We've got numerous.
I guess. We have, so this is something that we want to address tonight. So do you want to start the discussion?
Sure. Bill Walters, Building Inspector for the Town of Kent. I did a rough draft of how many solar panels we've installed since 2013 to July, when you first put the moratorium in. In that period of time, we've issued permits for 103 solar panels, and doing an audit on that 103 permits, 13 of them have battery storage systems attached to them, which are 23.5 kilowatt or less. We haven't had any problems with them, thank God. But we watched the installation, and they're installed different than the larger units that the moratorium affects. I went to a seminar back in November from Putnam County dealing with battery systems. And it sounds like you're going to talk about that at a different stage, and that's fine. But we have had numerous phone calls about trying to get these roof-mounted solar systems put back so we can get them installed. Currently, the way the moratorium is wrote is that it says any electrical generating supply, it's been the interpretation that that includes roof solar panels. And that's why we haven't been able to issue any permits for roof units. We haven't issued, we don't allow ground units, and that we've had, a couple years ago, we've had people that were looking to do ground solar units that all went through the planning board and ended up coming to the town board and then getting declined. And actually, the applicant withdrew the application is what really happened. But we're only looking to get the roof units reinstated so we can have those units put back on. And we're talking, again, any battery units that are with them, whether they're lithium, we had one system that was installed with lead batteries. They're small. They're within the tier 1 factor that the governor and NYSERDA has for smaller battery systems. So we haven't had a problem with them. So.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with roof solar panels, you know.
So I believe tonight we would have to set a notice for a public hearing.
Yes, because we're amending the proposed local law to specifically state that it accepts permits that utilize lithium battery storage for use in solar panels that solely serve a residential structure and serve no commercial component.
Right. So tonight we would just be, we would be setting a public hearing for next meeting.
Okay.
So we can have more discussion of it as well, moving forward.
The phone was ringing off the wall today because everybody knew the meeting was on tonight.
I know.
I'm sure the phone will ring off the wall tomorrow going, when can we start doing the install? So
Yeah.
we'll just tell them you had to wait another 2 weeks or a month or whatever the heck it is, but, very good.
And Bill, if I may, have you put on your fireman hat question, you know.
Sure.
As far as the batteries are concerned, for whether it's solar or a battery-operated car, you know, in a home, you know, being parked in a garage.
Two different systems. Two different systems.
They are, but they're both, I would say they're flammable or have the potential for being flammable.
Well, the cars have a lot more liability to burn than the house.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So, and maybe.
Teslas particularly seem to be like to burn.
Okay. So, and I think that's some more educating of myself to the solar panel batteries.
Right.
But I think something, remember when, at least when I was a kid, they used to have the tot finders you put in the windows for the firefighters, so you can flash the light and see that there's, I think, you know, a lot of, if a house has a battery system that could be combustible like that, whether it's a car or a solar panel, that the firefighters should have, some, indication before they go into a house or around it that there's something that's potentially highly flammable.
That is something that the town, if they wanted to amend the building code, the local, on the local level, could institute. It'd have to go to Albany to be approved. I know currently, checking in the current fire code, it's not there. The difference, and the major difference between your large commercial buildings and even the smaller units and the cars are susceptible to more damage because they're riding around on the roads. Parts can come up and dent the battery packs. They can go with, salt water is a big factor with them. We live in the Northeast where there's salt everywhere. And that affects them, and they can go into a thermal overrun. And when there's an accident, tragically today, had one today, the Tesla that ran 100 miles an hour and ran into a tree, and one was killed and one was severely injured. You're not going to have that in a garage. The garage isn't going to get up and run down the road. Once they're mounted, they're pretty well stable. Now, if the battery packs are mounted in the garage, we have had them put barrier protection in front of them. If they can't do the barrier protection, then we've had the installers raise the battery packs up so they're away from the car when it comes into the garage. So we've been working with that for the last couple of years, so.
Yeah, well, working around heavy equipment all my life, I know that mechanical failure is inevitable.
Yep.
I still get on an airplane,
Yep.
so statistically, you're okay.
Right.
But I think that, the men and women who go and, go into a fire or whatever should have that knowledge beforehand, personally. But,
Well,
all right, thank you.
Probably something that's going to be coming down the line, possibly in the new codes that are coming out. They keep saying they're coming out in April, but now I'm hearing maybe August or September. We're talking about the state. They don't know what the hell they're doing anymore. With that said, I better leave. So, thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you. Any public comment before we set the public hearing? No? Okay. Lana, are we good to set it for February 18th?
Do you need 5 or 10 days?
5.
5, and you're fine.
Okay. Someone want to read the?
I'll do it.
Okay, thank you.
So I make a motion to adopt a resolution introducing local law to be numbered,
We leave it blank.
2025, and providing for public notice and hearing. Be it resolved that an amendment to the Kent Town Code extending and amending a land use moratorium prohibiting lithium storage facilities is hereby introduced by Ann Campbell as introductory local law to be numbered of the year 2025 before the Town Board of the Town of Kent and the County of Putnam and the State of New York. And be it further resolved that copies of aforesaid proposed amendment, which is attached hereto, be laid upon the desk of each member of the board. And be it further resolved that the town board will hold a public hearing on said proposed amendment at the Town Hall in the Town of Kent, New York, at 7:00 p.m. on February, did you say 18th, 2025? And be it further resolved that the town clerk publish or cause to be published a public notice in the official newspaper of the Town of Kent of said public hearing at least 5.
She said 5, but your resolution says 10 because it's zoning.
Does it?
Yeah, I think it is.
It has to be on their desks, the local law, at least 10 days before, but I thought it was 5 days for publication.
Okay, so I just amend the resolution and say 5.
No, also, if I may, just for a moment, where it says, when was the first line? Amended a land use moratorium prohibiting lithium storage facilities. Can we put residential in there? Because this is just on everything.
But the moratorium is on everything.
Yeah.
And that's what we're amending, right?
So what we amending, so we're allowed commercial storage?
No.
No,
We're just going to amend the law according to the document that you have, which is going to be to allow solar residential.
Okay, so
facilities.
just referring to residential.
Yeah.
That's right, that's fine.
So are we going 5 or 10 here on the resolution?
Zoning is usually 10, but
I'm
this
good.
says 5.
I'm scrolling quickly to see what I can find.
All right,
If
let me
it's
know.
different for moratorium.
Otherwise, we move it out to March 4th, right?
We have to. March board meeting dates are pending at the moment, so we will,
Well, let's see what she comes up for, because it's an extension of a moratorium, maybe you don't need the 10 days.
But we're amending the law, not just extending it.
She's checking.
Yeah. And I'm really glad we're getting to this. I was concerned at the time we adopted it.
Yeah, you asked.
Why don't you, can you move on to something else and come back to this one while I look,
okay,
if you don't mind?
all right. I invite our highway superintendent up here to discuss an agreement regarding the expenditure of highway funds.
This is a yearly approval we're required by law to do, where I have to disclose my intentions, how I'm going to spend my money. It's called the 284 agreement for the paving season, and the $200,000 is my given road budget. That's basically just used for maintenance, ditching, pipes, potholes, and so. And I have no more bonding money left, so I'm going to be relying on CHIPS money this year. I didn't put an amount in yet because they don't decide on how much you're going to get until after the governor sets the budget. So I really don't have a figure to put in there, but I intend to do roads. I always try to throw a dozen or so Lake Carmel roads in every year. There's so many roads up there, so I've been getting them little by little. And I'd like to hit Seven Hills Lake Road. That was supposed to be a MS4 project over there, but nothing's happening with it. It's a soup bowl, and they got to put some proper basins in, that separation basins, but I keep calling East of Hudson, and no one's done anything, but the road's falling apart. So I want to hit that, and I'm going to try to hit Kingsbridge Court off of Churchill this year, and that's about it. And I don't know, I put down for paving in those areas and for new equipment. You're allowed to use CHIPS money for new equipment or new used equipment that will last 10 years. I don't know the combination I'm going to need yet because I'm still fighting with CHIPS from the storm in 2023. And we're due to get back about $50,000 from Bridge New York because before we received our grants, we had to pay Inside Engineering to do the engineering on all 4 different bridges, and we're entitled to get that money back, and that came out of my budget. And I'm fighting with DEC. I'm fighting with everybody. DEC, because we spent $35,000 or $34,000 on the forest fires in October, and that came out of my road budget, and that was not expected. That, FEMA, the Bridge New York money, and you saw today I sent a letter again to Senator Harcum and Assemblyman Slater. They have these multimodal projects, grants, and at one point Sue Serino had purchased 3 new pickups for us, and Sandy Galeff had gotten us to pave Dixon Road, so I'm trying to get money from them. So I don't know how I'm going to distribute this yet, so that's it. So I just need you guys to approve that, and then, did you want me to talk about the...
Let's do that, and then you can talk about the plaque.
Can we vote on one thing while we have another resolution pending on the table? Are we allowed to do that?
Yeah, I think so.
Make a motion to adopt a resolution to approve Highway Law 284 agreement. Whereas Section 284 of the Highway Law provides that the town board and the town supervisor of highways shall enter into a agreement for the use of funds levied and collected for repair and improvement of highways, and whereas consistent with the above referenced provision, the town board desires to enter into the 2024, is it 2020?
Should it be 2025 agreement?
Yeah, I didn't cross that out at the top. Yes, you're right.
Enter into the 2025 agreement regarding the expenditure of highway funds, the agreement in the form annexed here to and incorporated herein by reference. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Kent hereby approves the attached agreement and any documents necessary to give effect to this resolution. I make that motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, now you can talk about the plaque.
All right. Yeah, just quickly, The Lake Carmel Bridge is in, as we all know, and when I made the deal with the SUNY Buffalo Engineering Department, we agreed that we were going to dedicate the bridge and put a plaque on the side recognizing the engineer that designed it. It's a one-of-a-kind, well, it's the first of its kind earthquake-proof design. So I wanted to just make it official. I believe we're going to call it the Lake Carmel Veterans Memorial Bridge, since it's where we have our Veterans Ceremony and our Memorial Day ceremonies every year. So I was thinking maybe we should dedicate it on that day, and then we can send invitations to the staff at SUNY Buffalo, because I think they want to come down
We
and
want to be a
attend
part
it.
of it, yes.
And Ann wrote up a nice summary of the history of the bridge, how it was designed and where it came from to the town of Kent. So I'd like to have permission. I guess I'll work with the town historian to get the plaque, a bronze plaque made up.
Yep.
And then we should do some, well, a letter from the town board to the SUNY Buffalo to invite them down. And then I can let the veterans know on the other end that we're going to do it on Memorial Day.
That's a good idea. Okay.
And that's all.
We're not voting on anything tonight, we just wanted to discuss it with the public so that everyone.
I just want to make
knows
sure
what's
it's
going
all right, because it's really not my authority to do that, so I want to make sure you guys are okay with that.
I will say that, you know, I edited what they gave us, but it's a lot of words. If it comes out to be too expensive to have that plaque made that way, we may need to do some
on. To
editing.
abridge it a little bit, yeah, okay.
Yeah, no pun intended.
Yeah, there you go.
So maybe we need to sort of get some kind of an estimate and
Okay.
vote to make sure that we have sufficient funds. And
Yep.
I think we need to start soon because it's going to take some time to get that fabricated by Memorial Day.
Yes.
Yes, it was very well written in, so I'll get that, I'll try to find out who does that. This,
Jackie knows, or the town historian
Yeah.
knows where to get that.
Well, with the Pomeroy grants, they get those historic markers, but this is more involved. I'm not sure. You might want to talk to Mike Caropian. He might know places that do that kind of work, because I know they did a plaque, like for the Nim statue over in Fishkill, there's a plaque.
yeah, all right, I'll call Mike and ask him then,
Okay,
and that's it.
all right.
Thank you very much.
Are you,
Section 20 of the Municipal Home Rule Law prescribes a 5-day newspaper notice period for a public hearing on a local law.
okay, so then we're good so then we'll do the public hearing on February 18th.
Okay, as we said, so I was
Yeah.
almost through reading it, and just now I can't find it. Thank you. Okay, so we got as far as February 18th, and be it further resolved that the town clerk publish or cause to be published a public notice in the official newspaper of the town of Kent of said public hearing at least 5 days prior thereto. I make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Welcome.
Our next item is our Director of Finance, Yulia Kelly, will no longer be working with us. She's going to stay on as a consultant, but she will no longer be our Director of Finance. So I'm asking the board to approve Maria Christina Cahill. This says we'll be starting on February 5th, but we're actually going to do her first day as February 10th. Yeah, so Yulia's rate will be what it is right now. Yulia is currently part-time with us, so her rate will stay the same. I don't know if we need to fill that.
Just
And
put
then,
at her current rate.
Yeah.
okay, rate, okay. Per hour, okay. And then the salary we had discussed is 90. Any comments on this?
Well, I want to say that I'm thankful that we're going to have more time allocated with this finance director position, because the management of grants and the fiscal tasks involved have escalated as we've been successful in attaining more funding to a degree that is untenable for our current level of staffing. And so I'm
Our Director of
thrilled.
Finance needs to be able to dedicate one full day a week to the amount of grants that we're bringing in, which is great for the town that we have so much, but it's just been a little difficult on a part-time director of finance.
And as we do our grant budgets, we're able to charge some of that time to the grant funding or use it towards meeting the match on the grants. So it's a win-win.
Does someone want to read it?
I'll do it. I make a motion to adopt the resolution accepting the resignation of Yulia Kelly and authorizing the hiring of a director of finance. Whereas the town of Kent wishes to accept the resignation of Yulia Kelly as director of finance for the town of Kent, with sincere thanks for her service, and authorize Ms. Kelly to act as a consultant to the town. And whereas the town wishes to hire Maria Christina Cahill as director of finance of the town of Kent, now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Kent hereby accepts the resignation of Yulia Kelly as director of finance with thanks for her service, and be it further resolved that the town board authorizes the hiring of Yulia Kelly as a consultant to the town of Kent at the current rate per hour that she is paid, and be it further resolved that the town board of the town of Kent authorizes the hiring of Maria Christina Cahill as full-time director of finance at the annual salary of $90,000, and be it further resolved that the town board of the town of Kent hereby authorizes the supervisor to execute any and all documents necessary to give effect to this resolution. I make that motion.
Can we add after her 90K start date of February 10th?
Yes,
Sure.
please.
Thank you.
Do you need me to do that?
It's okay, you all agreed. I'll
Okay.
just add it in.
All right, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Our next item on the agenda is for the EMS. It is for an ALS intercept agreement. We're actually going to table this tonight just because we're still working on getting the most cost-effective, we're trying to get the price down for the intercept agreement. So we're going to table it till next meeting. But I would just like to add an item to EMS to accept a grant. Can I add that to make a motion?
Make a motion?
I did,
Make a
so-
motion?
I did, so
to-
can you
There
second?
you go.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
So we received a check today for $2,575. It is a grant for the John T. Sloper Community Fund of the Community Foundations of the Hudson Valley to support the Town of Kent EMS radio acquisition grant. So we just need a resolution tonight to accept the money. So I'm asking us to do that. I don't think anyone has a problem accepting money. So we do need this for the radio. It will cover the cost of it. So I make a motion to accept $2,575 from the John T. Sloper Community Fund for the Town of Kent EMS radio acquisition.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Thank you.
So I know there was some questions about the ambulance drawn tonight, so basically,
Oh,
them up
okay.
at the pass. Some questions were, why do we need Empress if we already have
So,
our?
okay, so Empress, so what the agreement would be when we do it is that they are an ALS. And Bill, you can correct me if I'm wrong here. So they are an advanced life support. So if we go to a call and Kent EMS is BLS, basic life support, and they have to get on our ambulance and ride in the ambulance to the hospital to take care of the patient that's on there, they would charge us for that. So we have to pay it. So that's what the agreement is.
Do they only work in the town of Kent?
Empress?
Yeah.
Empress works for the whole county.
So it's an organization that already works with other towns.
It already has an agreement with the county.
With the county?
Yep.
And so why is our agreement different than that with the county?
Well, we're trying to talk the money down.
Okay.
And the major difference, so that everybody understands, the Kent ambulance, Lake Carmel ambulance, most of your ambulances around here are BLS, basic life support, which means they have a driver and an EMT, certified EMT. ALS, advanced life support, means that your vendor, whoever that's going to be, is a paramedic. They're allowed to give drugs if you're having a cardiac event, respiratory, give you medicines and everything else, where the EMT cannot. The EMT is only restricted on what drugs they can give, and it's very limited, one or two. The paramedic has a whole host, and I've actually seen the paramedics save lives in the back of the ambulance, so it is beneficial. And it's one of the other requirements that New York State's put down on top of us, so.
So a lot of people wonder, why are we bringing them in if we already have an ambulance service. So it's a different type of service, for one, right? So we're giving the basic life support, their advanced life support.
Correct.
And do they also back us up? So let's say Kent has their 2 ambulances out someplace else, and there's nobody to call. Empress would then, if they had a car available, would go to a call.
Generally, what happens, I'm not sure how Empress is going to be manned. Generally, they respond to the scene, the paramedic gets into the back of the rig, and then the rig goes to the hospital, and they perform treatment en route to the hospital. If Empress is supplying a ALS rig, it may have a EMT as a driver and a paramedic. They may pick up, say, a third call in the town. I don't know how the contract reads, so.
Okay. So Empress really goes to the firehouse or the substation,
The-
whatever, gets onto the regular ambulance?
Negative.
No.
No, okay.
Negative. The town ambulance will respond as dispatched to the scene. The paramedic ambulance, the ALS ambulance, responds to the scene, and they might get there before the break and start life-saving care.
Okay. Yeah, just nailing these questions out because I know they're out there.
Yeah, it's very confusing sometimes, so,
Thank you, Bill.
all right.
Any other questions?
I'm sure there's a lot more, but I don't have them right now.
Any other questions from the audience? No, okay. All right, so we accepted the grant, we're good there. I make a motion to add an item for the planning board to the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I received late on Friday a memorandum from the planning board asking us to return funds remaining in an escrow account of $375 to AJ First Realty, 5210 Nail Spa. It was passed unanimously, so I'm asking the board to approve it tonight. I'll wing the resolution. Okay. I make a motion to return escrow funds in the amount of $375 to AJ First Realty, 5210 Nail Spa. I make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. One more item to add. I make a motion to add Lake Carmel items to the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So I make a motion to accept the resignation of Siobhan Carey from the Lake Carmel Park District Advisory Board. Second?
Second? Oh, I thought there was more to
Yeah,
come.
no,
Sorry
that-
about
well,
that.
that's-
Oh, that's
and,
disappointing.
well-
That's very disappointing.
Yes, and then can I do the advertise in there as well? Is that okay? And to advertise for the open seat that is for the Lake Carmel Park District Advisory Board. I make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, with thanks to Siobhan.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
And since we're talking about Lake Carmel, I'll make the announcement tonight because I got the fireworks people on the phone. And the 2025 4th of July fireworks will be held on Saturday, July 5th, with a rain date of July 6th. So
That works
the
out.
fireworks will actually be in July this year.
That's great.
So that was, no resolution needed for that, just thought I would pass that along. So that on July 5th, we'll do our backyard Olympics at Ryan's Field like we always do. I don't know when the fishing derby is this year. Bobby's not here and Walt's not here to tell us, so, but backyard Olympics and fireworks July 5th, rain date July 6th. Okay, you can do the vouchers now.
Make a motion to adopt the following items that are above the threshold. 2025 items are Arkell Motors, $4,922.96 for municipal repairs on Town of Kent vehicles. Arkell Motors, $4,710.92 for municipal repairs for Town of Kent vehicles. Appalachia, $52,202.16 for highway road salt. Appalachia for $83,467.49 for highway road salt. Barton and Judas, $14,983.54 for the Kent Sagamore Road culvert replacement estimate. Is that estimate? I don't know. It says EST.
Replacement?
Well, it says replacement and then EST. I'll just skip it. Barton and Judas, $15,025 for the Kent project for the bike and pedestrian improvements. Cassidy Plumbing and Heating, $2,990.95 for the Kent Police Department furnace service and new water heater. Facilities Maintenance Corp., $3,525 for January 2025 cleaning contract. Gabrielli Truck Sales, $6,797.22 for municipal repairs, Town of Kent vehicles. Hogan, Rossi, and Ligori, $5,416.63, January 2025 legal services retainer. Lake Carmel Fire Department, $1,002,490 for the 2025 fire protection contract with the Town of Kent. Managed Technologies, $2,571.24 for IT support from January 13th to January 26th, 2025. Managed Technologies, $2,769.24 for IT support from January 27th through February 9th, 2025. Municipal repairs, $31,952.70 for Town of Kent highway chargebacks. New York State Electric and Gas, $4,968.22 for the Kent PD January 2025 service. The following items are from the calendar year 2024. Allegiance Trucks, $3,623.47 for municipal repairs for Town of Kent vehicles. Barton and Judas, $9,169.51 for Kent Sagamore Road culvert replacement. Labella.
Estimate 6.
Is that estimate 6? Okay, thank you. Estimate 6, Labella Associates, $3,086 for Kent groundwater study plan. I make that motion to adopt the following items, or the preceding items.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Some announcements. So since we're talking about the fireworks starting, we have opened up our registration if you are interested in coming to join our farmers markets that we will be holding all summer long. We will have one in May, one in June, one July, one August as of right now. So if you want to come and be a vendor, we have the permits and everything in the recreation office. We also have Little League and softball open for registration. So we have lots of, we also have some art programs going on. So there's lots of stuff happening in Kent Rec. Check on the website or call the office for more information. Do you have anything?
Nope.
Nope.
Anne?
Always. For the library, most important, they are looking for a new board member. Kenton Public Library is seeking candidates to fill an opening on the Library Board of Trustees. Trustees must be Town of Kent residents, at least 18 years of age, and have held a library card for at least 1 year prior to their appointment. They are expected to attend monthly meetings, currently on the third Tuesday of the month at 7 p.m., i.e. town board meeting time, and devote time and effort towards carrying out the duties of being a library trustee. If you are interested, please send a resume and letter of interest to Donna Piroli, Kent Public Library, 17 Sybil's Crossing, Kent Lakes, New York, 10512. Also, it is not too late to make a Valentine for a senior. Supplies are still available at the library through Monday, the 10th of February. And they will be having a bookseller sale on Saturday, the 8th, from 10 to 2. That's it. And, of course, there's always lots more to find on the website. Thank you.
Any public comment? Make a motion.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
See everyone on the 18th.